I've done it or I have not done it. Okay? Indicate on the chat box if you were able to do your assignment or what challenge did you face when you're trying to do the assignment. So you can do that for me in the chat box. I will check the chat box when I am done. So let's go back to the material we are using. Today happens to be day 11. I don't know if we have been keeping track of the lectures. Today is day 11. So now, here, I was trying to explain to us how to use VLOOKUP as against HLOOKUP. Now for VLOOKUP, we talk about vertical lookup. We are looking at information on the column, okay? On the column, all the information that are falling on the column. So always look at the first column. So this is the first column. Now this is the data range. This is the data, right? We are looking at the first column of this our data. So the first thing you see that information are going on the column. So these are column, information are on the column, right? But when you check this other one, you discover that information is going on the row. So information like the items now that they listed, the items they listed medical, they listed rent, they listed Xmas, they listed tax, and the last one they listed dues. So information was actually going on the row. Then for this one, we have the percentage. We have 2.5%, 10%, 100%, 2.5%, and 0.15%. So here, information is going on the row, So we are counting the numbers of rows that we have information on. You just count 1 and 2. So if you need information on the first row, you're going to use 1. If you need information on the second row, you're going to use 2. But most likely, you will never need information from the first row because is whatever you're using on the first row, you're going to use to match, right? To match. For instance, if we go to a sheet now, we want to ask how much is medical. We just type medicals. We use that medicals that we type on that sheet to come and match medical here, and then want to get how much percentage is that medical. So that is what usually happens. So now, let's now look at the formula. The formula for your VLOOKUP and the HLOOKUP is the same thing. The only difference is that it's just the name of the function. If you are doing VLOOKUP, type equal to VLOOKUP. If you are doing HLOOKUP, type equal to HLOOKUP. The time to know whether you have to use VLOOKUP or to use HLOOKUP is, it depends on where information is. Information here is going down the column. Information on this other side is going down the row. You can see information is going down the row over here. So when information is on the row, you have to use HLOOKUP. But if information is going on the column, you have to use VLOOKUP. So let's look at the formula. This is the formula. You say equal to, you start with equal to, right? You now type the name of the formula you want to use, depending on where your information is. If your information is going down a column, that means that you know that you need to use VLOOKUP. So you now say equal to VLOOKUP. You now open your bracket. Now, you now ask yourself, what do I want to use to match the information I'm looking for? Let's assume I want to go and check for the prices. Let's say I want to look for the discounted price. Okay, I know that this is the discounted price. Discounted price is like this. Here are the discounted prices, right? So here are the discounted prices. So I know that I want to get discounted prices. So what I need to do is this. I want to say, what do I want to use to trace that price? Whose discounted price am I looking for? Am I looking for the discounted price of PMS? Am I looking for the discounted price of Argo? Or am I looking for the discounted price of DPK? So you must note that this is your data. This is the data they gave you, right? And this is the report that you're trying to prepare. This is the report you're trying to prepare, okay? So what you are going to do, let me stop what I'm doing. So what you're going to do is you come to where you want your answer to populate. Let me delete all these answers from here. This is where we want our answer to populate, right? So let me delete these answers from here. Now, we're now asking ourselves, so what are you going to use to match? We are going to use the name, the product code is what I'm going to use. So this Excel will check this product code that is here that you have selected and go to this data and go and look for that product code that you selected. Once you see the product code, then it can now decide to now pick the discounted price for that product code or whether you're telling it to pick the market price for the product code. So now come here, I say equal to, I already know that my data are going down the column. And I say equal to VLOOKUP. I open my bracket. Then what do I want to use to match? I want to use the product code. So what is the product? The first product code here, that is an AGO, and it's inside cell F8. That is where the product code is. So I say, okay, I've told Excel now, I want to go and look up AGO. Okay, when I look up AGO, I want to check for the price of AGO. I want to check what is the market price that we sell AGO. So now say equal to VLOOKUP. I select AGO that I want to go and look for. Then the next thing is that I put a comma. Then I go and select all the data range. Where is the data? The data is on this box. Okay. Once I've gotten the data range, right, I want to now put a comma again. I want to put a comma. Once I've put the comma, then I will now ask myself, which of the prices am I actually looking for? Am I looking for the normal price? Am I looking for the discounted price? Or am I looking for the market price? Let's assume I'm looking for the market price. So do not count. How many columns do you have? Count from the first column. This is column 1. This is column 2. This is column 3. This is column 4. And I'm looking for market price. Market price is where? Is it on column 1? No. Is it on column 2? No. Is it on column 3? No. Is it on column 4? Yes. Market price is on column 4. So column 4 is represented. So we here. We put 4 here. And once you put 4 there, you put a comma. Then you now put either false or true. Let me check. Okay, are we together? Give me a thumbs up if we are together. Okay, that's fine. So that is fine. So thank you. I'm coming. Let me just respond to something urgent. All right. Okay, so I'm coming over. So now we've done that. So let's now continue. Now the next thing is that once you have put the column that the data is, the column that contains the data you're looking for, you put a comma. The next thing you want to do is that you want to put either false or true. So if you type true, you are going to get an approximate match. But if you type false, you're going to get the exact match. So let's type false. When I type false, this is where I am. Okay, so false, FALSE. Then once you're done, you close your brackets and then you can hit on enter. But before you do that, note that you've selected the product range, the data range. Okay, you want to make sure that at every point in time, when you autofill, the data range does not change. So what do? You now come and make this thing an absolute reference by pressing F4. Okay, at the beginning, then at the end of the last this thing, you also press F4, and you have made the data range to be locked, right? You can click on enter now and look at it. So for AGO, we are using AGO to trace. We come here with this AGO that we selected. So Excel comes to this data and search for AGO. AGO is here. Then the next thing is that Excel now, you told Excel to now go to the 4th column. So Excel is going to count from AGO 1, 2, 3, 4, and pick this data that is on the 4th column. So that is what it has over here. So we check it, you say equal to VLOOKUP, you select AGO, which is in F8, we put a comma, select the data range, comma, then tell it to go to column 4, put a comma, and put false. When you put false, you are telling Excel you want the exact match. So Excel is going to go there and check for AGO. So if your spelling is not correct and use false, Excel will not pick any answer for AGO. It will assume that there's no AGO on this sheet. So it will just go there and either give you an error sign to indicate that Argo is not there or something. So we are done with this one. We've gotten the answer that we needed to get. The next thing we want to do is that we can now autofill it by double tapping the autofill handle. So when you double tap it, it's given that automatically this screen is populated. So that is how we are able to get our VLOOKUP. So if you get your VLOOKUP, exactly the same way is how you should get your HLOOKUP. The formula doesn't change except for the name. So let's now come to this side. Let's come to this side. Here you have the data going across on the row. So let's use this, our data, and let's check the assignment we're given. So let's come to the assignment we're given. So this is the assignment we're given, right? Now, from this assignment, we are going to be looking for certain things. We are looking for medical. We are looking for rent. We are looking for Xmas. So let's identify which of these, our file, do we have that thing on? Do we have it on? Do we have it on salary advance? No, we don't have it on salary advance. Do we have medicals on allowance and deductions? Yes, we have medicals here. We have rent here. We have Xmas. We have tax. We have dues. So anything that we see in that payroll sheet that relates to medical, rent, Xmas, tax, and dues, we are going to use these, our allowances and deductions for it. So let's come over here. We come here now. So what we want to do is this. We want to say, okay, here, equal to, right? Equal to. Now, you ask yourself, where we saw medical, is it in these allowances and deductions, or is it in salary advance? So if you have the answer, can you type it on the box? Where did we see medical? Do we see it in the salary advance sheet? Oh, somebody say I should go over it again. I didn't get it. Wow. So, madam. So I think you might need to watch the remake of the video because I've been going over it again. This is like, so we are still going to learn, don't worry. So let's come here. Let's come to this sheet. Here we have medical here. We have rent here. We have Xmas here. So, and then this, our allowances and deduction. It has medical, it has rent, it has Xmas, it has tax, and it has dues, right? So we now come back to this, our sheet, our payroll. We now come here and say, okay, we want to give medicals, right? We want to select medicals for each of these stuff. Now, for the medical, we want to give them, I think it's going to be a constant rate. All of them will have the same medicals. All of them are going to enjoy the same medical allowance, right? All of them are going to enjoy the same rent. All of them are going to enjoy the same Xmas, and so on and so forth. So what we are going to do is that we now come here. We know that our medical is on these allowances and deduction, and that stuff is on a row. The data is on a row. So because it's on a row, we're going to use VLOOKUP. Sorry, I said HLOOKUP, sorry. So you come back to your payroll. Here, you now start. You now say equal to, what do I want to go and look for? I want to go and look for medical. So I'm going to say, I want to go and look for medical. Then for the medical, I look at what is the percentage that we're giving to medical, right? We now say equal to, now that your medical is a percentage. So it's going to be equal to that amount times, right? It's going to be times the basic rate because this is a percentage. So that's equal to HLOOKUP, right? HLOOKUP, right? Then we'll now say, open your brackets. What are we trying to go and look for? We want to go and look for the percentage of medical. So press medical. Once you press medical, right? The next thing you want to do is that you want to put a comma, then go and select the data range. Where's the data range? The data range is on allowances and deduction. So we come here, we select the data range. We select the data range, right? When we select the data range, then we want to put a comma. Then what are you looking for? we are trying to look for the percentage that we are giving to medical. And the percentage is actually on the second row. We're going to put 2 here. We put 2 here, we put a comma, and then we now say we want to get the exact match. We close our bracket. But before we go on, don't forget that our data should be locked so that it doesn't move away. So we come and press F4 here. We press F4 here. Then we come here also. We also come and press another F4 over here. So click here. We also press F4. So now the data range is locked. Now, number 2, another thing we also want to do is that we also want to lock where our medical is. Our medical is actually on F2, right? Now, let's come here. We are going to lock, we are not going to lock F because we want this thing to be able to move from medical. We want to use the same formula and just adjust it and use it for rent, adjust it and use it for Xmas, adjust it and use it for, so we want to just do it that way. So what we're going to do is this, we're going to say our F is the column. It's not column that we want to lock, it's the row. We don't want it to leave the row, but the column can change. After we have gotten medical, we want to go and do for rent, we want to go and do for Xmas, and so on and so forth. So what we're going to do is that we are going to lock the number, which is representing the row. We don't want it to leave the row. So we come here, we come and lock row, we press F4 once, we press it again. Yes, so here our F is not locked, but our row is locked. Fine. Now the next thing is that you want to now say, when you are done with this, you are putting into bracket. And that you want to do is that you can also now cover this thing again with another bracket, so that at the end of the day, you want to multiply it by something. You close it by bracket, you now multiply it by, since it's a percentage, right? You want to multiply it by, or maybe they just want only the percentage. Okay, so they don't want us to get, yeah. So let's just leave it as, well, since it's a percentage, it's going to be a percentage times, is it the basic salary, the basic rate or something? Okay, so let's I don't know, is there any way we have a gross? Okay, this is a gross now, so everything must add together to become a gross of this 2,100. Fine. So let's try it. Let's say, okay, times let's say times the basic rate, times this basic rate over here. Okay, times this basic rate. Then we also want to lock the basic rate. Let's come over and lock the basic rate. We also lock it by pressing F4. Okay, so that is locked. So we want to close it. And when we have closed it, we want to now press, no, we don't need to close this one. So we now press and, oh, sorry. What am I doing? Let me undo it. So I times this, right? And then I want to click on enter. So this is what we are going to get for medical. So when you get this one for medical, the way we have done it is that, okay, now this is our payroll. We want to lock this. So that we can always copy our formula and take it anywhere. So once we have blocked this one, what we do is that we can copy it like this. We can put it anywhere. Anywhere, you can put it Ctrl V. It will adjust to what it is. We put it anywhere all through this slide. We put it anywhere and we press Ctrl V. So you can see here, now, here is just 25, 20, why is it so? It's supposed to be multiplied by, so let me see, this times this. How come, why is everything becoming 29.25? And here also is becoming the same figure. Why is it so? I'm coming, let me check. So 25% of 100 and, so let me check what our payroll is. It's not supposed to be the same. So here is, sorry, I made a mistake. So this is what I'm going to do. So this one now, we also make it adjustable. So we want the column to be permanent, but we don't want the row to be permanent. So that's what is wrong. So we want the column to be permanent, but we don't want the row to be permanent. So let's delete this, our $sign from 3. So this is what we're going to do. So now click on enter. We now copy it like this, and then we now put it all over here. Let's put it here first. Ctrl V. Okay, that's fine. We also put it all over here. Ctrl V. Yeah. So this is what happens. You can see now with one click, I've been able to create everything that is going to be medical, rent, and Xmas. So for here, so what it's doing is, yeah. So let me check this. This is G. So everything is adjusting based on the formula. This is H. Fine. So you can see the way I've done the assignment for us. So for us to get it well, let me let the formula show. I just press F2. Okay, so if you check this formula now, this formula, I know that I needed to go and do HLOOKUP. We already know how to do our HLOOKUP. We just say equal to HLOOKUP. Then we now say, what do we want to go and look for? We want to go and look for Xmas. So we now click on where Xmas is. We put a comma. Then where do you want to go and look for Xmas? We want to look for it inside our allowances and deduction. You select allowances and deductions. We now go and select all the data range of where allowances and deduction are. Then that data range, we also want to make sure that that data range is locked so that it will not be, when we are auto-filling, it will not shift from where it is. So once we've done that, the next thing we want to do is I want to now say, okay, since we were able to achieve that, let's now ask ourselves, the data that we have, where is the information we are looking for? So what exactly to come to this allowances and deduction and come and check for the second row, because the item is on first row, the percentage is on the second row, right? So I wanted to come and look for the item on the second row. So that's what we did right here. And that is how we're able to do that our formula. So let me give us opportunity to speak so that we can tell what challenges we are actually facing. So let me quickly give us opportunity to speak. Yeah, let's give opportunity to speak because it's going to be like a class exercise. And I want us to all be engaged in it. Let me give us opportunity to speak. Then you unlock your mic and speak. Okay, so everybody, you have the floor. Do you have any challenge with what we have done, or you understand it? Or mute your mic. Yeah, so Mr. Salahuddin, do you have any challenge with what we've done, or you are good to go?
Not at all. No, we are good to go. I'm good to go. I don't know of others.
Okay, so what about others? If you don't know it, kindly speak up so that we can check it together again, if possible. So now what we are looking at is, we are looking at the knowledge of what do we call it now? Where we change something from putting that dollar sign in front of it, absolute referencing and relative referencing. Yes, so we are looking at the knowledge of your absolute reference, the relative reference. We're also looking at the knowledge of your VLOOKUP. You understand? So those are the two things that is testing. So if you understand how to do where to use absolute referencing, where to use relative referencing, you're going to get your information accurately. And that is what we've done over here. So if you know that you did not get it, kindly speak. Let me try it again for us. The ladies, I need the ladies to respond now. The ladies. Anybody?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, madam.
Okay, well done. For me, at the point where you put the formula, you'd first done it, and then you realize that something was wrong, and then you did the correction. I don't know how you got that.
Okay, fine, that's good. So let's go back to it. Okay, so somebody said I didn't get it. Okay, so it's important that we get it. So because we might come to at times, it may not be that you didn't get the right formula. It may be that you do not know where to use absolute reference. You don't know where to use relative reference. That could just be the only challenge. So you could get the formula well. You know what you want to get. You know that, okay, This VLOOKUP will give me the answer, HLOOKUP will give me the answer, but your inability to know when to use absolute referencing and when to use relative referencing can be the only issue that could be affecting your formula. So you saw that I did it before. I discovered that something was wrong. So let me do something. Let me delete everything again. Then we'll do it together again, right? So let me delete everything, yeah, and then we'll do it again. So now we already know that we are looking for medicals, right? We are looking for percentage of medicals, percentage that we give to rent, percentage that we give to Xmas, right? I know that anytime we are looking at percentage, we must multiply it by something. Percentage, you cannot just put percentage here. Percentage alone will not give you the figure you're looking for. You have to multiply by something, okay? So number one, you know that you are going to use, so you're not ask yourself, where is this medical? Where will I see medical? Where will I see rent? Where will I see Xmas? Obviously, it's not in our salary, it's not in our salary advance sheet. What is in our salary advance sheet is just advanced salary, job title, name, and ID. But in these allowances and deduction, this is where you're going to see medical, rent, Xmas, tax, and dues. Now, you also study this data you are given. This data seems to be on a row. So anytime the data is on a row, but not on a column, it's not on the column, it's on a row like this, it means that you are going to use HLOOKUP because this is horizontal. So you have to use horizontal lookup. And if a data is going across in a column, you have to use vertical lookup because it's vertical. But this one is horizontal. That's why we're using HLOOKUP. So let's now go back to our table. We want to get this information. But this information is not only the percentage we are looking for, we also know that we are still going to multiply that percentage by something to be able to get figure in the sheet. So when I come here, when I say, okay, from that our data we have, everything, we have medical, we have rent, we have Xmas, we have taxes, we have dues and everything, fine. The same thing, you come here, you discover that you have medical, you have rent, you have Xmas. So any formula you're going to use should be a formula that can adjust to the right, can adjust from here, come here, come here. But we don't, because, but this is what we are using to test, right? It means that it should not leave this row 2 because the data is on row 2. Just like when you're going to use that horizontal lookup, also make sure that the data does not leave the row 2 where those items that you're looking for are. So that means that in your formula, 2 will be absolute, right? But the columns will be relative. Anytime data is on a row, if data is on a row, let that row be absolute, while the column that we don't have data, let the column be relative, okay? So in our formula, we take note of that. Another thing we are trying to do is that we only have one basic rate that I want to use for everything. So even when we get our answer, we want our basic rate, right? We want to use this basic rate, but we also remember that this basic rate is not only this basic rate we need, we also need basic rate for others. And this our basic rate is going down in a column. That means that when we're trying to select this our basic rate, our column will be permanent, but our row will be relative. Our column, we make sure that our column, when we are selecting this thing, we make sure that our column is going to be absolute, while our row is going to be relative. So you can see the way it goes. If data is on a row, data is going across on a row because here we're trying to look for medical, we're trying to look for rent, we're trying to look for Xmas. So obviously the data is on this row and not on the column. Now also, we also need this basic rate, and the basic rate, they are all going down in this column. So when we want to use this place on our formula, we make sure that our column E is absolute, while the rows are going to be relative when we are selecting this basic rate. So with that information, let's start. When I come here, we know that we don't only want to get information for medical, we also need information for rent, want to look for percentage for Xmas as well. We also know that percentage is not enough. We need to multiply that percentage by the basic rate. So when I come here, when I say, we already know that our data is going on a row. So therefore, we are going to use HLOOKUP. We already know that already. So let's go back to what we are. Let's go back to where we are. Okay, so let's go back to where we are. This is where we are, so this is where we are. So let's clean this thing. We now say that equal to, we press our equal to, right? Equal to, we know that our data is on a row. So that is horizontal, and we have to use HLOOKUP. We have to equal to HLOOKUP. We now open our bracket. Now, what do we want to go and get the percentage of? We want to go and get the percentage of medical. We have to click on medical. We click on medical. That is what we want to go and get the percentage. Oh, sorry. I need to start this thing again. Let me start it again. Sorry. Let me start this thing again. Okay. Let me press escape. I need to start it again. I don't want it to be showing. We're already in the same sheet. It shouldn't be telling me payroll. So let's start again. Say equal to, right? I say HLOOKUP. Then what I will do, I will open my bracket. What do I want to go and get the percentage of? I want to go and get the percentage of medical. So I'll click on medical. Then I also know that I still need to also go and get the percentage of rent. I still need to go and get the percentage of Xmas. I still need to go and get the percentage of tax. So obviously, my data here is going to be on the row. So what will I do? Row is represented by 2, and then column is represented by letters. So I come here, I will just put my $sign in front of 2. $sign in front of 2, right? So I've made my rule permanent. So even if I copy this formula now and I drag it over here, because I didn't make column absolute, it can adjust through the column. But the rule, it will not leave the rule. The rule is going to be 2 totally. So when we have selected our medical, you put a comma. When you put a comma, the next thing is that you want to go and check in this our data range. Is that medical? I want to use medical to go and trace what the percentage of medical is going to be. So we now come and select all the data range. Now we now ask ourselves, how many rows do you have there? You have only 2 rows. The item you are looking for, the name is on row 1. The figure that relates to that item is on row 2. Therefore, is the figure that relates to the item is what we're looking for. So since it's on row 2, you come and put 2 here. So you come and put comma. After you selected the data, you put comma. Then you now put 2 to indicate that we have actually used medical to come and trace medical here. But what we are looking for is the percentage of medical. So that's why I'm using 2. Once you have put 2, then put a comma. The next thing is that you want to put false. When you put false, right, you want to close your bracket. But before we continue, don't forget that at every point in time, you need to make your data absolute. So you come here, click your mouse before A2 and make it permanent. Press your F4, fine. Put your mouse after F3 again. Press your F4 again. So we have made our data to be permanent, right? Now the next thing we want to do is that we say that okay, we are done with this thing. However, this is going to give us only percentage. We also want to use it to multiply the basic rate. So we now say times, we now come and select where this basic rate is. Now, I also told us something that these basic rates, they are all listed on column E. They are all listed on column E. Therefore, make sure that E is permanent, but row is going to be relative. So it's going to be, yes, relative. So, but everything we are looking for here, they are all on column E. So come over here and make sure that your E is absolute, while your row is going to be relative. Once I've done that, then you are good to go, right? So the next thing you want to do, you want to click on enter, but we might get an error sign. And I'm going to tell you why. Because this is HLOOKUP. At the end of HLOOKUP, I think we are supposed to close this thing with another bracket and close HLOOKUP also with a bracket. So, but let's press enter first. Let's see what happens. Whether it won't give us complaint. Oh, it still answered us. Fine. So it has answered us, and that is fine. So now you see that what I've done is I know that number one, I'm looking for medicals, I'm looking for rent, I'm looking for Xmas. They are all going on that row. So if I'm going to select medical, I'll make sure that the row, which is number, it is absolute. While the column, which is the letter, will not be absolute, will be relative. So that's the first thing I did. Look at it. F2 now. My F is a column, my 2 is a row. I made my 2 absolute, right? Because I know that on the row, that is where the information that I want to go and use to match, that's where it is. The next thing is that I also want to select the data range. So that data range, at every point in time, make sure you make everything absolute for the data range. That is no issue. Then you put a comma, then you now ask yourself that, okay, when I come to this sheet and I've matched medical to medical, what do I want to check for medical? I want to check for the percentage. So you now check, okay, medicals and everything is on row 1, the other thing is on row 2. Therefore, when I have seen my medical on row 1, I'll need to check row 2 to get what I need. And that row 2 is on, that is second row, that is represented by 2. So that is why you can see there's 2 here. There's 2 here. Then next you want to put false to indicate that I want the exact match. Once you're done with that, you close your bracket, then you now multiply it by, because it's a percentage you're going to get. So, but you want to multiply that percentage by the basic rate so that you can get actually figure. So we now multiply it by the basic rate. Now the next thing is that because we are still going to copy this data from here, we're still going to put it in other places, we know that this data is actually, the basic rate, they are actually arranged down. Let me see if I'm still on this call. Let me see. Okay, fine. So the data, they are actually arranged down this column. So therefore, when we are selecting this basic rate, we make sure that column E is absolute. The other numbers, we can leave it relative so that I can move away from row 3, go to row 4, go to row 5. But we know that the data, they are arranged on column E. So column E is going to be permanent. Let me now show us. Look at it. When I did this like this, our E has a $sign before it, but our number, which is our row, does not have any $sign before it, so that we can move it anywhere. Once you're done with that information, you can copy it like this and come and put it anywhere you want, because you have been able to fine-tune your formula. Okay, you have been able to fine-tune your formula, and automatically you can just put it anywhere you want to put it, and you're going to get the accurate information you're going to get. So you'll be able to do for medical, we've done for rent, we've done for Xmas. So let's see, when we add this in together, this plus this plus this plus this, what are we going to get? We are getting, look at this, the sum at the bottom, 2,486.25, and that is what they got here. That is exactly what they got here. The summation of everything is what they got here, okay? So that's how they got what is in that place. So that is that. So let me see, is there any question before we continue? Is there any question? So we still have tax here. We still have dues. So let's check if there's a space for us to get tax and due. So there's tax here, right? Then there's due here also. So all you need to do is that just copy this formula. The formula has been done in a way that you don't need to start. Okay, another thing we want to do is that now, since you have gotten your okay, so since you have gotten this, you can just copy this one now and just come and put it here, because tax, okay, we are saying that everything is going to be a percentage. Now we normally ought to pay tax on our gross salary. Am I right, everybody? So a percentage of our gross salary should be the tax that we ought to pay, right? Because we not say that a percentage of basic salary. So when you have gotten your gross salary, use your gross salary to calculate, to compute, or when you have other deductions, right? You need to use other deductions to now, after you've deducted every other thing, then the next salary remaining is what you now need to pay tax on. So let's just go and check what is our tax percentage. They say our tax percentage is 2.5%. So let's assume that our tax is supposed to be a percentage on our gross salary. Yes, which is correct. It should be a percentage on our gross salary. So let's say here we can copy this information. We can come and put it here, but we now do an adjustment. The adjustment is because before we're multiplying it by the basic salary. But this time around, let's not multiply by the basic salary. Let's come and multiply it by the gross salary. Since there is no deduction, anytime there's no deduction at all. So since there's no deduction, our tax is supposed to be based on our gross salary. So we now come over here, we now say, okay, we adjust this formula. Now we are not doing it on the basic salary anymore, right? So we are going to now multiply it by the gross salary. So here, when we have payroll, we now take away this E. It will no longer be E, but rather it will go and be what? I. It will be I, because that is where the gross salary is. Once I've gotten that, you can quickly press your N. No, not one. It's supposed to be I. Yeah. So this I, that's it. So you can press your enter. And obviously, this is what we're going to get for tax. We can now click it like that. Then the next thing is that let's now say what about dues? Our due, let's also do the way we did for tax. Let's copy it. Our dues is going to be based on the tax. We also put it here. Now remember that our due, we've made our I3 to be permanent. So at every point in time, this our due also is calculating on our I, which is fine. You can say, okay, a percentage of our gross salary is going to be our dues, right? So now also autofill downwards, and that is what we did. Then the last thing I want to go and do now is our salary advance. Let's now do that, because that one is not on the allowances and deduction sheet. It's not on the allowances and deduction sheet. It's rather on the advanced salary sheet. So let's now come and do, and the advanced salary sheet, you can see that data are going across column. They are going across column. It therefore means that here we are not going to use HLOOKUP, but rather we're going to use VLOOKUP, because data are going across like this. We are going to use VLOOKUP. So we come back to our payroll computation. We come here, we now say equal to, right? We now say VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP. We open our bracket. This time around, yeah. So this time around, we also need to now say, okay, what are we going to go and look up? We are going to go and look up our sales advance. Now, this sales advance, right, that you've selected, there are no other information that you need that you can also get from this salary advance. It's only salary advance that you need, only one item. So therefore, the reason why I will lock this my K2 is because when I copy this formula and I come and place it here, I want it to still be looking for salary advance for this person. When I copy this formula, I come and put it here. I want it to also still go and look for salary advance of this person. So what I will do is that I will lock that my place where there is salary advance. I say equal to, and I say VLOOKUP. I open my bracket. I come and select salary advance. But the salary advance, I'm going to lock it. I'm going to lock it because I don't want it to leave that place. I'll press F4. Now, unlike before, when I did for medical, because the data is on row, I let row to be permanent, but the column, I let it to be relative so that we can copy the formula and it can adjust for the row. But here, this data is only on K. There's no other place that we need the formula to adjust to. So that's why we're going to make this our K, is we're going to make it permanent. Then when we have done that, we put a comma. Oh, sorry, let me do it again. I'm going to select this place, then I'll make it permanent. I press my F4, fine. Then next thing I want to press my comma. Hope I'm still on the call. Yeah, so I press my comma. The next thing I want to do is I want to go and select the data range. I now come to my salary advance and select the data range. This is where the data is. This is where all the data are. So once I've selected the data range, I'll press comma again. Then the next thing I want to do is, and I ask myself, this data range, how many columns are there? We already understand that the data is on column. This time around is not on row, it's on column. Our ID is going downward, our name is going downward, our job title is also going downward in a column. Our salary advance is also going downwards. So we know that it's column. So we say how many columns do we have here? We count column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. What are we looking for? We are looking for salary advance. Obviously, salary advance is on column 4. So we are going to use the number 4 to do our formula. So we now come over here. When we put our comma, right, we now put 4 over here. We put 4. Once we put 4, we put a comma, they want to put false. Once we put our false, we close our brackets. Then don't forget that your data range should always be locked. Press your F4 to lock it. Then put your cursor here also, press your F4 to lock both of them. So once you have locked it like that, fine. The next thing you want to do is that you want to now say we are multiplying it by what? Let's say we are multiplying it by our gross salary. And that's multiplied by our gross salary. Now, this is our gross salary now. We know that the gross salary, they are all going down in a column. The gross salary is not going like on a row. It's going down the column. So it means that anywhere we see column under our gross salary, we make it permanent. So our column is I. We make that I, we put a dollar sign in front of I. Then our rule, they can adjust for them because we still have all those other information like that. So we now click on enter. Once we click on enter, sorry, let me check again. I'm coming.
It did not close. It did not close. It did not close.
I didn't close what?
You just put the I3. You didn't close the bracket.
Not close the bracket.
No, that's not the problem. That's not the problem, actually. Okay, I think the problem should be, okay, the problem, what could be the problem, actually? I'm looking. Okay, so it's supposed to be multiplied by I3. Why am I not getting a good figure? I'm coming in. Okay, so let's close it just like you said. But I'm sure that is not the issue. But let me close it as you said. I'm not sure that is the issue, Sha, but let me close it. You see, it's not the issue. Something is wrong, which I'm trying to figure out. Oh, yes. I was the one that just put this bracket here. Yes. So, it's not necessary that I'll put a bracket here. It's not the issue. The issue now is this, I don't know, false, advance salary. Okay. So normally we say VLOOKUP, we open our bracket, we select what we want to go and use to match, we want to go and use salary advance to match, and that is true. We put a comma, we go to where the data is, we also select the whole area where the data is, right? We select everywhere where the data is, then we know that this is VLOOKUP. We now say, how many places do we have of our column? We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, and this is represented by 4. Okay, now this time around, this is not a percentage. This is not a percentage, so we are not supposed to multiply it by the gross salary. Do we understand it now? Hello, do you understand? But even at that, it's not supposed to still give me error because this figure can still multiply figure. But even at that, it's not supposed to give me error. So let's go back to it and see. I don't know. I want to know what is actually wrong. I come back. I'm not supposed to multiply it by this stuff. I think I'm not supposed to multiply it by this. Let me delete this one. So let me press enter. It's still giving me not allowed. So what could be the issue? What could be the issue? So our Excel gurus, it's time to solve. This is K2, which is correct. Then we'll put a comma equal to VLOOKUP. We open a bracket, K2. We put a comma. Then we select the data range. Then our data range, we actually lock it. Then after that, we now say, okay, what column is on column 4? Then we close our brackets and put this. So why are we not getting the answer? Okay, let me check for something. Let me check. Okay, help on this error. Show calculation step. Ignore error. Identify the formula bar. Error checking options. Let's check for errors. Let me close this first. I'm coming on. Help on this error. So let's check what it's going to do. We're trying to get help on the error. It's not even, okay, so you say how to correct a n/something error. The n/a error generally indicates that a formula can be found what it seems, what is being asked to look for. So a formula can't find what is being asked to look for. Okay, you cannot find what is being asked to look for. Okay, top solution. The most common cause of this kind of error is with XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, lookup, and match function. If a formula can't find a reference value, for example, your lookup value doesn't exist in the source data. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Let's go and check. Another thing we can go and do is that I told us that also check for this spelling. Let's go and check for this spelling first. Let's see whether this spelling is actually done correctly here. Look at it. This is the error. Now here, this thing is spelling sensitive. We are telling it, so look at what we want to go and use to match, right? We are telling it to come to that salary sheet and come and check for sal advance. Here was abbreviated, but here is not abbreviated here. So here now is not abbreviated. Here it was spelled fully. So you need to also be careful when you are using all these formulas. They check for spelling. So if it comes here, now that is why if you now come here, let's now try and put, instead of us putting false, let's put true here. Let's see whether we'll get the answer. Let's put true here because it will go and check for approximate. Let's put true here. Let's see whether it will give us answer. You can see there's somebody on the call yesterday that was saying, when do we use true? When do we use false? So when you use true is when you are trying to get approximately. Even if Excel go there and see sal advance, then it comes to this side and you see that there is salary advance. Excel will just add 1 plus 2 together and like, okay, maybe they are trying to say salary advance. Maybe the salary advance they are trying to type. Okay. So what I just corrected is that I just came here, I just corrected the false to true. Meaning that if it goes there, you go and check for approximate something. And when you get there, you saw that, okay, there is sal advance. And here, there is salary advance. So you say, okay, if this is salary advance, and that is sal advance, maybe they are trying to spell salary advance. So it still gave us the answer that we're looking for. So that is how we're able to get that. Do we understand? Do we understand? Do we understand? Nobody is talking now.
Yes, we are following.
All right. So let's also go and check here. If we are getting salary advance, or using the salary to us. Okay, so we need to now copy it down. But at the same time, yeah. So, okay, yeah. So when you're also doing VLOOKUP, don't forget that for your VLOOKUP, we are not using salary to match. No, we are using either the ID number or we are to use either the name or the distance. So that is why we're able to get, let's come and check. So we are not supposed to go and use salary advance, actually. Maybe that's the issue. We're supposed to go and use, this is what we are supposed to go and use. We're supposed to go and use either the ID number. So let's use the ID number. So for VLOOKUP, you use vertical. Things that are on the vertical, they are using VLOOKUP. You are doing VLOOKUP. But if you are doing HLOOKUP, you are all going to look at item on the row. Okay, so now since we are doing VLOOKUP, we're also going to pick an item to go and use to match. So we pick the item not from the heading any longer, but we pick the item from the column. So what we do is that we now say here, we don't want to have K2 here any longer. It's not K2 we need here, but let's go and pick our staff ID. So let's go down and pick our staff ID. We now select this one instead. So now, this one is, all the staff ID, they are all on column A. It means that anywhere we see A, we can make it absolute. You can make A absolute by putting a $ in front of A, right? And then the numbers will be relative. So we have done that. We click on enter and look. Hold on. Why is it giving me? Okay, so let's go and check. For this person that has this ID 033, how much salary advance did he actually take? Let's go and check 033. Let's check for the salary advance it took. 033. Okay, 033 actually took salary advance of 56. So why are we not getting 56? Let's go back and check again. 56. Let me go and check again. So something is fundamentally wrong, but we are going to get it. Oh, another thing is here now. I used true. Let me change it now to false. I want to get exactly the actual thing. So let's check again. We say VLOOKUP. We are trying to use the staff ID to go and trace the salary advance that they took. They will put a comma. We selected the data range. We put a comma. They will now put 4. So let's see whether our column that we calculated is correct. So this is going to be column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. Our answer is actually on column 4. Then let's also go and check that we are supposed to put false and not true. So let's come here and put false here. Let's see whether it will change it. We delete, and put false. FALSE, false. Click on enter. So 56. Is it 56 that we did? Let's check again. Yes. I think 56 is correct. 56. Yeah. Okay. So you can see what's going on. So when you tell it, like, you need to say, I need exact match. Now that we told you that, just go and give me approximate. You just went there and you just say, okay, you just went and pick any other thing. I think it chose 70 before, which is wrong. 70 is like 0.70. But when we tell you, give me the exact match, it came to get us the exact match. So now, to finalize what we are doing, note that when you are doing VLOOKUP, V is vertical. Whatever you are going to use to come and match your data also should also be vertical. So if you come back to this side, we are trying to get this, but we forgot that we are not doing HLOOKUP. It's not when you are doing HLOOKUP that you use item that is on the row. But now we are doing VLOOKUP. We need to go and use item that is on the column to go and match. That's why I came to select ID, right? It's ID we use to go and match. The other thing is that also make sure that we do not use true. If you use true, it can give you another answer. So rather, just use false. False will obviously give you the accurate answer. However, if it were to be HLOOKUP that we are doing, and our spelling here is not correct, you can, to get the right answer, you can still use true. True, Excel is going to go and check. When it saw sal advance and it saw salary advance there, it still guessed that, okay, probably you meant salary advance, okay? So and that's how we're able to do that. So with this, I think we are good. You can just come here and there's autofill this side by double tapping, and that is it. So this one that has 0 now, which one is this guy that has 0? I think this is, let's go and check which of the ID. That is Moses, that is 055. Let's go and check our 055. We come back here, we check our 055. And in the reality, 055 is Moses, and Moses actually did not take any salary advance. So we are good. So this is how we are able to do the classwork or the assignment that I gave us. I know if I had left us to do it, majority of us will not get it. So let me now ask us, who among us did it? And who among us is confident that if he or she is given this kind of assignment in the future, he or she will be able to get it? Or probably you went for an interview and you say you are very good with Excel. They say, fine. Well, yeah, come and do this for us. So your knowledge of Excel in order to finalize what we are doing, remember, when you are doing VLOOKUP, the item must be listed on the column, right? And also what I also go to use to go and match must also be on the column. When you're using HLOOKUP, the item must be on the row. And what you're also going to use to go and match must also be on the row. So I think with that, we are good to go. Also know when to use what's it called, relative referencing, and also know when to use absolute referencing. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I believe now with what I've done now, no one is going to say he or she is still having that challenge. I believe that everybody is now now understands very well what we are talking about. So the next thing we want to do is let's leave that. We've done HLOOKUP. This is another illustration for HLOOKUP. You know that for HLOOKUP, you are looking at item on the column, on the row, and then you can quickly go and use your formula. So the formula for your HLOOKUP and the formula for your VLOOKUP is the same, except for one is using the column, the other one is using the row. So if you understand that, we can move on to another area. Let's click. The next thing we're looking at now is match. We're looking at match. Okay, I think this is this is what wait a second. Can this be, I'm coming on. Okay, so the next one we're looking at is match. I think something is wrong with this file I have here. This is not there. There are some things that are not here, like pivot table and every other thing. So for match now, let's check what is happening under match. And also we also check for April. Okay, let's take a match, right? Match. Let's check. Is there any formula for match? Is there any formula here? Okay, so there's no formula here at all. So let's go to the beginning of the worksheet and go and check what our match is. Let's go to the beginning of the worksheet. I want to go press the beginning of the worksheet. Sorry, beginning of the worksheet. And let's check what match is. Yeah, so this is the function information. So yeah, under match now is another lookup function, right? They say returns the relative position of an item in an array that matches a specified value in a specified order. Okay, so that is what. So you now say just the way you do your VLOOKUP, you now say equal to match. You open your bracket. You now check the lookup value, what you want to look for. Then you now yeah, so lookup value. Then you now go and select the array, the lookup array, that is the data range, right? Then you press your comma, then your match type. So we need to check your match type. So just like we have range lookup, right? So let's go and check. So they say use match instead of one of the lookup function. They say use match instead of one of the lookup function when you need the position of an item in a range instead of the item itself. So when you need, so it means that when you're doing your match or when you're doing your VLOOKUP and everything, it's going to be the same formula, but the only difference is going to be the match you're going to put at the front. Okay, so that's going to be the match you're going to put at the front. So let's go and check for something. Let's go back to that formula. Let's go down to that place and see what needs to be done. Okay, so we come here, we click on this match. We already have all these figures that are here, fine. Let's now come to this side. Okay, so this is a long formula. Now we already know that there are times that you need to nest formulas, right? You need to nest formulas, and this is a very long formula. Right. So here in this formula, let's check. Here they have a formula here. Here they check a formula, out, and all those stuff out. And blah, blah, blah. So let's see what they are doing. They say that let's understand this formula first. So here now they now say, okay, they also use match here. So they came here, they say that equal to if error. Okay, so they say if error now. We are trying to look at error. So let's go and press our if error. Let's check for something. So let's come here and say equal to if error. Okay, so this if error. So what does it do? We returns value if error. Okay, returns value if error. If expression is an error and the value of the expression itself otherwise. So it returns. So normally when you're using if error, they say it returns if error. If expression is an error and the value of the expression itself otherwise. So let's go and check for this our formula. This is a long formula actually. So this formula now, they say that if error, you now open your bracket, you now make a statement. If let's say G2, we are making now here now you are trying to use an if function, but you want to put an if error so that instead of you to have error sign, you rather get another figure. Probably the if formula you're going to use is actually wrong. So rather than it to give you error now, you now use if error so that instead of it to give you error, it's going to either tell you is same or you should change it or you should or it's out of range. So let's check. They say if they say G2 equal to where's our G2? Our G2 is actually let me see G2. So G2 is like Lucky and everything. So they say equal to G2. We're using if G2 equal to VLOOKUP. We open our bracket. B2. What's our B2? Our B2 is this guy, right? So they say that equal to, right? They now say, you know that we are using if error at the beginning. So we want to use if, and if is also used for a statement. When I say if, when I say G2, this our G2, which is Lucky, they say is equal to the VLOOKUP of 2. Okay, VLOOKUP of 2. Then we want to match the data range, which is B match. Is that okay? So this is match. So match they are using here now is the name of a sheet. And you know this match, since you are using the name of a sheet, you're supposed to use one open quote and another open quote at the beginning. So they are checking if they want to select the data range from B2 to G40, right? Comma under 6, they want to get the exact match. So let's do that first. That's the first thing we're going to do. So let's come over to where there's a data and let's come and check for VLOOKUP B2, comma. So your B2 is actually this HGYU. So let's go and check for somewhere. Let's come over here. So when I say here equal to VLOOKUP, we open our bracket. When I say our B2, we put a comma, all right? When I come to match, we select the data range. Where is our match? Okay, this is our match. This is our match. We select the data range. The data range is from here down to wherever the data ends. So yeah, so this is where the data ends. So once you've done that, you put a comma. Then I think they now selected 6. They selected 6. So that means the 6 they are selecting. Let's count. Let's see. This is okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means they did not start from the serial number. They did start from serial number. So let's leave this. This is not 1A. So this should be like 1B. Yes, 1B. So let's clean away the A. and we put a B. So they didn't start from serial number, they actually start from B, so which is the call. So what we do is that we now make the data range also absolute. We press our, let me check if we're still on the call. Yeah, we're still on the call. So we now make our this in absolute. We press F4. Yes. We also put this in here. Also, we also press another F4. F4. Then we selected 6. We put a comma. Then we press false. Right. We put a false. We close our bracket. Then let's press enter. Let's see what happens. Let's press enter. So now here, this is what we are trying to do. We are trying to check for, we say VLOOKUP, right? We now say B2. We are trying to use B2 to go and trace our match sheet. So we now say B2. What is in B2? This is HGYU. We now say that, okay, Excel, go to B2, see what is in B2, then come to the match data, look for that, the data we look for, which is HGYU. You have seen it. When you see it, then go and look at the 6th column away. So that's what it says. So go and look at the 6th column away. Now we can check the 6th column away, right? So you went and check the 6th column away, and after you check the 6th column away, the item on that sixth column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is actually Lekki. So now that is Lekki that we're looking for. So I was able to pick Lekki. So let's now check what they are telling in this formula. They say that if error, they open their bracket, they say if our G2, this is our G2 now, they say it's equal to our VLOOKUP that we've done, right? And the VLOOKUP that we've done is actually Lekki. So where's our G2? Our G2 now is going to be, let's check what our G2 is. Our G2 is actually also Lekki. You can see now, our G2 is Lekki. The VLOOKUP that we also check is also Lekki. So you can see why it's returning same, that both of them are the same. So let's check. Now this is it. Okay. So we now say that if G2, which in our G2 we have Lekki there, is equal to the VLOOKUP that we'll go and check, which is also Lekki. Okay. Then they now say it's equal to true, comma. We are done with the first statement. Then if it's true, return same. We are using the knowledge of if, return same, but if it's not, put change, right? However, instead of it to not give us any error, okay, instead of it to give us error, just give us out. Give us out. So that is what if error is doing. So we make a normal if statement to say that G2 equal to VLOOKUP of this thing, and which is also G2 is Lekki, and our VLOOKUP also is giving us Lekki, okay, which is equal to true, right? So if it's equal to true, you know that the first answer we're going to select is the answer of true. However, if the answer we select, but if this our G2, which is Lekki, and this our VLOOKUP does not also give us Lekki, you would have either told us to change it. But if this is going to give us an error, let's assume it's even far away from what we are looking for, then it cannot tell us that it is actually out. It's out totally. Instead of it to give us an error. So that's how it is. So that is what we use this stuff for. So on this our sheet now, there's no other item, there's no other exercise on this our sheet. No other exercise on this our sheet. I will need to share another one. I think today when I was trying to save what to send to us, I have deleted every other thing that ought to be on this our file. I've deleted them in order to be able to send this one. So I will try and send us another updated one that we're going to use for our training tomorrow. So in the absence of that, let's now ask ourselves certain questions. Out of all the topics that we've done, which of them is challenging to us? Okay. Which of them is challenging to us, and which of them do we need clarity on? Out of all the things that we've done, which of them is challenging to us, and which of them do we need clarity on? Let's unmute our mic. We have 25 minutes to go, so that we can quickly check those things before we call it a day for today to meet again tomorrow. So out of everything that we have done so far, which of them do we need clarity on? the exercise I gave us yesterday, I'm sure majority of us did not even do it. How many of you did it? Just unmute your mic. Let's just discuss. How many of you did the exercise we gave yesterday? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, so how many of us did the exercise we're giving yesterday? Then is there any challenge that we feel we need to like still do more exercise on in order for us to, is there any particular topics that we've covered that you feel that we still need to do more on?
Yeah, for me, I think we need to do more on the Z lookup, though it also depends on our personal ability to practice. It requires
Is it Z
practice.
or H lookup? Which of them, sir? Is it H lookup or V lookup?
Is H is H. To me, I think it's H. The two we need to carry on. We need to undergo thorough practice for it to sync properly.
Okay. So left for you, you feel we need to do more exercise on H lookup, right?
Yes, and we also personally, as students, we need to also do a lot of practice.
Okay. Thank you for that input, sir. I think we will still do, I think there's one that I skipped because I felt we have gotten it. I just felt we have gotten it. So I skipped it. Maybe we will still go back to it again. So any other person feels there's an area, okay, if you know there's a topic particularly that we've done that we feel that we need to still work on, can you unmute your mic and let's hear it?
Hello,
Hello.
good evening.
Good evening,
I'm just
madam.
joining. Yes, please, I'm just joining today. I tried joining yesterday, but I think the network was really terrible, so I couldn't. I just joined now.
Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So that means you might not have any question, right? Or any area you feel we need to work on. Yeah, so I guess so. Any other person?
So for me, also this VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, they are still quite a bit confusing. But like Mr. Olusegun said, if when we get the time to actually practice it more, we'll get it more. Because
Okay.
it's you doing and us just looking at it. And the fact that we've not practiced it on our own, it looks a bit difficult. And then it is difficult because we've not practiced. But then it's a part that looks challenging actually, to be sincere.
Okay. So thank you very much, madam. So there is actually a file I gave us as an assignment. So that means the assignment still stands, right? So you have that file with you. Use that to practice. So the file I shared with us is on that VLOOKUP and the HLOOKUP. So let's use it to practice.
Hello, sir. Please, can you resend the file? I'm sorry.
The
Yes,
file?
I missed it.
Is it the file?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do
Yes,
that
sir.
on the group. I'll do that on the group.
Thank you.
Yeah. So any other person? Unmute and talk and speak. Okay, so if let me assume that apart from those areas I've mentioned, every other area we are good with them, right? I want to assume that every other area we are good actually with them. Okay, so since some people are not saying anything and all that, so let me also ask for the sum if, the if function, are we also good with that? Then for the what's it called now? The absolute referencing and relative referencing. If you remember this exercise that we did, everything was interwoven. I needed the knowledge of absolute referencing. I needed the knowledge of relative referencing. Otherwise, I may need to start doing the formula one by one for every place I am. So you need to learn that absolute referencing and learn the relative referencing. You need to know when to use absolute referencing. You need to know when to use relative referencing. So that's another area that you need to also concentrate on, because you can't say, but is it not to make something absolute? Is it not make something relative? But when to do it is the issue. Okay, and that is the major challenge that we had when we did the formula. We discovered that everything was not giving, it was not answering us. Everything was not answering us. It was giving us something that we do not really understand until we have to now readjust the formula before we're able to get what we are actually looking for. So it's very important that we learn all those things. They are very, 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 very important. Okay? So in the absence of that, I will just say, let's just quickly check this last thing before we go. And the last thing we're going to look at is actually, this one. Okay? So this is it, right? So I just want to, let me delete all this, right? Let me delete this. Then as a practice exercise, I want us to look at this, right? And I want us to solve it by ourselves. So let this one be your practice exercise. So let me make it smaller, okay? So we already know the formula. We already know what the formula is. Then this is the data we are looking for. And this is the report we are trying to populate. So with this data, you need to use so determine, are you using VLOOKUP or you are using HLOOKUP for this? So let me ask us, are we using VLOOKUP or we are using HLOOKUP? Who can tell me?
VLOOKUP.
It's VLOOKUP.
Okay,
We are using HLOOKUP.
Okay, so some people said VLOOKUP,
VLOOKUP.
some people said HLOOKUP. So why is it VLOOKUP, madam?
Because like you said, it is the data that we are using is arranged vertically.
Okay, so the other person that said we are using HLOOKUP, yes, can you speak? What's your own opinion?
The data we use is arranged on a row.
Okay, so now for clarification, this is our report. Our report is different from the data we are using. So the madam, are you still insisting that our data is on a column? The data we are using is actually on a row. The report is different from the data. The data is what determines what to use, whether to use VLOOKUP or to use HLOOKUP. Okay, so that is what we determine.
I've seen my error.
Okay, so let's try it. Let's try it, everybody. Let's try it and let's see what is going to happen. Okay, I know that a lot of people will just quickly check, Argo, and just pick. So, but you are not picking, right? You are trying to use a formula to get what will be here. So do your formula and let's see what happens. And then you can send to the group before 9. Can we try that? We have like 25 minutes. 25 minutes. So let's attempt it. Let's attempt it. If you have an Excel template, just quickly open it and just try it out on your own. And let's see whether you will even get it. So who is working on it? Is anybody working on it?
Hello, sir. So do we create our own Excel or you send it this
Yes.
template?
Create your own. Create your own.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So are we set? Who is doing it? We have 20 minutes. Are we done? 19 minutes more. This should not take us more than approximately 1 click. Who is done? If you are done, just put on the chat that you are done. And then don't let us forget that our assignment still stands. The one I gave us to do for VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP that we've done together in the class, it still stands, right? So that is that. Do we have anybody that is done? So we have, is this 16 minutes more? Okay, so in the absence of that, I guess we will take it home as an assignment.
Done.
You're done. Okay, fine. One is done already. Any other person? Any other person? Any other person? Is there any other person that is done also? Okay, so let's try and do it together because I don't know why it's taking us so long to be able to do it. It's very easy actually. So what you need to do is you just come here, right? When you come here, you put your equals to, then you now say the data I'm looking for. Am I to use HLOOKUP, or am I to use VLOOKUP? Obviously, the data we have is on the row. So that therefore, because it's on the row, we need to actually use HLOOKUP. So when I say equal to, when I say HLOOKUP, we open our brackets. When I say, what are we trying to go and use to match? We're trying to use argo. This argo is what we want to use to go and match. Then the next thing we want to do is I want to put a comma, right? We now go and select the range of the data. We select the range of the data, right? We put another comma. Then we want to now say how many rows are here? Just 2. That means that our answer that we're looking for should be on row 2. Then we'll put a comma, and then we'll now type false. And that is that. You click on enter. Then with this, the only thing that we need to do is this our data range. We need to lock it. We lock our data range. We lock our data range. Every other thing can remain the same. So every other thing can remain the same, just autofill. And that is how we got it. You can see here, PMS is 65, our DPK is 80, and our algo is 105. And that is it. We are done. We are done. So how many of us got this answer? How many of us got the answer?
I got it.
Or mute your mic. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there any other person that got it also? Or mute your mic. Okay, so I want to believe that we all got it. So I think this is where we might call it off for today. If you have any question, you have time to ask a question. We have just like 12 minutes to the end of the class. If you have any question, you can ask the question now, or we leave everything till next time. Any question at all? Okay, so in the absence of any other question, I'm happy to tell you that we are done with the end. We have come to the end of today's class. And I also want to tell us that for those that would need certificates, right? So we are going to get certificate for us at the end of the training. Now, the certificate may come at a very low price, okay, which I'm going to announce to us later. But I just feel that if we can take the pain to actually take a 30 days training, we should get certificate for it to show that we actually went through that the process, the rigor of getting that knowledge. So we also need a certificate for it. So we finalize everything on the group, then I will let us know how it will go. So thank you everybody for your time. And I want to tell us that it's not anything serious. It's just a token that it will cost us, okay? So that is that. Does anybody have anything to say, to add or to subtract or anything? Or do we feel we don't need certificates? Or is certificate a good idea?
I think,
I can hear you, sir. Go on.
I think it's very open for us to have a certificate for those who participate.
Okay, okay.
It's a good idea. And
Thank you,
sir,
sir.
I still have a little issue, sir, because I'm this concatenate it.
We
Supposing
concatenate.
we have done the concatenate, I want to pass it again.
Okay, you want us to revise concatenate again?
Yes. Is there any way we can do so without going to the original data?
Okay. Concatenate. When you're doing concatenate, you're actually you select the so you say equal to, you now say okay. So if you are doing,
I think you have gotten the answer.
you have gotten the answer.
I said I hope you have gotten me right.
Yeah, I got you right. You said you needed us to still go on to check concatenate, have you?
Yes, yes. After which we have done with concatenate.
Yeah, so to do concatenate is very easy, right? All you need to do is just say equal to
Formula.
concatenate. When you say concatenate, you open your bracket, you select what you want to join. I want to join this, right? If I want to join this, then what I'll do, I'll put a comma, right? Then I will now put a text. The text is like, you know, those double quotes. A text is double quotes, right? Double quotes. Once you do that, you put under comma, and then what do I want to join this with? I want to join this with this, right? When you do that, then you now close your bracket and click on enter. So now what I just did is that, let me put figures there. Let's say I have a name here. I have probably I have Johnson, right? Then here I have Leke, right? So, and I want to join it together. So let me delete this again. Let me delete this. So what I will do is I will just say, okay, now I don't want it to be separated on different columns, right? I want it to just be like a name that is together. Yes?
Sir, we couldn't see your illustration. You couldn't see, hardly we see your illustration now, sir.
I'm doing it again. Don't worry. You can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can see your screen, but your data illustration, we could not get it right.
I understand. Just check. I'm doing it again. So now say equal to, sorry. So you just say equal to, right? You now say concatenate. Then you open your bracket. Then what and what do you want to join together? I want to join this name, right? You put a comma, right? I want to join that name, right? But when I want to join that name with this other name, I want there to be a gap in between it, so that you say Leke Johnson, not Lake Johnson, or not Johnson Leke. I want it to be Johnson Leke. So at the middle, I'm going to put a space. So the space is going to be represented by this double column. That is what it represents, the space I want to put at the middle. I put a comma again. Then what do I want to join with Johnson? I want to join this with Johnson. I click on it. Then I now close the bracket, right? And I click enter. You can see that now it has joined it together. It's very easy. It's just like saying, I want to join this and this. But you know that you have to put, when you select the first thing, put a comma. Then at the middle, put your double column, your double quotation mark, I mean to say, put your double quotation mark at the middle, put a comma before you now select the other thing you want to join with it. So it's simple. So let's say I want to join this, and this together. So the three of them, I could just come here, I say equal to, I put concatenate, sorry, concatenate, I hope I'm correct, concatenate, okay. Then I open the bracket, and I say, okay, I want to join this, comma. Normally I'm supposed to say, I want to join this, comma, with this, comma, no. But because I want there to be space in between, I say, I want to join this, comma, then I want to create the space, I need to be at the middle. I want to create this space by putting a text at the middle. So texts are always quoted. You put double quotes to quote a text. At the middle, we did not put any letter at the middle, but it's still a text we are trying to create. We now put a comma. Then when I say I want to join it with this, right? You also put a comma, right? Then you want to put double quote again, double quote. I also want to join it, then put a comma again. I also want to join it with this. Then at the end of the day, you close the bracket. Sorry, not this bracket, close the bracket and enter. You can see that it has joined everything together. So everything is just like one name now. So to now we copy this in, and because most times when you join things together like this, you might need to delete what is here, so that the only thing will now be saying now be this link. So when you do that, you copy it. When you copy it like this, you now paste it special, paste 1, 2, 3. You paste 1, 2, 3. Then when you now delete all these ones, it doesn't. If I delete this one now, it may affect this one, right? But it doesn't affect this one, because this one I've copied it and I've pasted it special. So that is how to work on concatenate. Then another thing you can also do is you can also do it the other way without putting the concatenate formula. So you can do the other way without putting the concatenate formula. So let's check it. How to do the other one without, sorry, undo. How to do without concatenate formula. You just say equal to, right? You can now select the name. Select this one, right? Now here, instead of you to put instead of you to put a comma, put and there. So you put and, right? You put a comma. You now leave a space. I hope I'm correct here. Anymore. I've forgotten the other method. But anyway, just get the first one first. Once you get the first one, you are good. But let's go and check that our concatenate sheet again and see the other formula that there's another way to get that thing. Let's quickly go there and check what it is. So this is concatenate practice. This is the concatenate. So to the right of it, you want to check. Yeah, so you still put that so you don't put comma now. You put and. In place of comma, you just put and, right? Then you now put the space you want to create at the middle. Okay, put another and, then you add that one to it, and that is all. So I think with that, we've come to the end of today's class. See you tomorrow by God's grace. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And don't forget your assignment. You can still go and check this on the YouTube page to guide you when you're doing your assignment. Okay?